Tyler Jalbert, driver of the 04 mainly asphalt Camaro. You're watching XCAL on Telesign TV.
Esto es XCAL League, soy Octavio Rondoletto y me verás arriba del Telesign 77.
Hi, this is Angelo Esposito, driver of the 33 machine, and you're watching XCAL Racing on Telesign TV.
Hi, this is Kenny Tripp, driver of the main Mongol truck service Camaro. You're watching XCAL Racing on Telesign TV.
Hey, ich heiße Rafael Sempro und bin der Fahrer des Wagens mit der Nummer 74 und ihr guckt XCAL Racing auf Telesign TV.
This is Ryan Soper, driver of the number 84 RS racing car, and you're watching XCAL Racing on Telesign TV.
Good evening, my friend, and welcome to Heat Race number 2 for the first and 15 300. My name's PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, and we are getting ready for another epic heat race here on Telesign TV. If you missed Heat Race number 1, here's what you missed. Heat Race number 1 was dominated early by a driver named Joel Blewett, making his XCAL Racing debut. However, late in the going, it was the 08 of William Karp who had a lot of long-run speed. Karp was able to track him down, and with coming 10 to go, Karp made the pass on Blewett, and Karp never looked back. Karp hung on and picked up his first career XCAL Heat Race victory. He'll be starting in the top 4 tomorrow after a nice win there. Here in the second heat race, we have quite a few more drivers. There's only 20 drivers took the green in Heat 1. This one, it's looking like there's going to be about 26 or 27, so things are heating up here for sure. As we are wrapping up qualifying right now, a little under a minute left, and the boys still jockeying for the last few qualifying positions. Things have been awfully intense this week. Only the top 4 transfer from the heats this week. There's not a lot of pits here at North Wilkesboro. Only 33 pit stalls. That means XCAL is only taking 4 cars per heat race, so they have enough room for their provisionals. And it really has created some intense racing. So as we get ready to go racing here, we are going to take you through the starting grid in just one moment after they wrap up qualifying. But the drivers that transferred from the first heat race were, of course, the winner, William Karp. Second place, Joel Blewett, although Blewett has stated he will not be able to race tomorrow. That position will be given up to a provisional. Third place was Brandon Varney, and fourth place finishing was James Seawright. So those are the cars that transferred to tomorrow's feature from Heat 1. From Heat 2, 4 more will transfer, and Heat 1, it kind of was dominated by Karp and Blewett. Those two were certainly the class of the field. I don't see that happening in this heat race. Just to give you an idea of how close this field is, first through 17th were separated by 2/10 in qualifying in this heat race. So 17 cars running within 2/10 of each other. That's going to be some awfully close racing. Qualifying's wrapped up, and we will now go down through the starting grid for heat race number 2 of 4 for the first and 15 300 from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Starting on pole position, that is, position number 1, will be the number 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. On his outside, in the number 57, will be Chase Johnson. In third, in the number 48, will be Jordan Babinger. In fourth, in the number 99, will be Tyler McRae. In fifth, in the number 12, will be Kenny Tripp. And in sixth, in the 01, will be John Schwartz. In 7th, in the number 07, will be Kyle Streichars. In 8th, in the number 28, will be Stephen Rex. In 9th, in the number 03, will be Quintus LaBeouf. And in 10th, in the number 06, will be Cody Jones. In 11th, in the number 7, will be Jeff Edgar. In 12th, in the number 31, will be Josh Rogers. In 13th, in the number 42, will be Noah Carpenter. In 14th, in the number 53, will be Tyler Batchelder. 15th, in the number 13, will be Darren Snyder. 16th, in the number 2, will be Ben Eaton. 17th, in the number 45, will be Travis Sukup. 18th in the number 52 will be Marty Zakala, 19th in the 126 will be John Frilly, and 20th will be Jose Godino in the number 20. 21st will be Patrick Sullivan in the 16, 22nd will be Ron Walters in the 00, 23rd will be the number 5 of Derek Colson, 24th will be the number 82 of Alex Gangler, 25th will be the number 9 of Mark Royce, 26th will be the number 29 of Justin Novaria, and 27th in the number 24 machine will be Jeremy Leto. So that is your starting grid. And we are going to do a little pre-race interview here as we get things ready to go. So we're going to dial up the radio of one of these drivers real quick. And Kyle Streichars, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Oh, we're trying to tune into the radio here of Kyle and see if he has us.
Oh, I got you, PD. My bad. I was doing my pre-race rituals, that's all.
10-4. Sorry to interrupt your pre-race rituals. Kyle, you find yourself starting up here in 7th, and let me tell you what, those DBR cars look strong all weekend. You got to feel good about your chances here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a really difficult track. I mean, I've been struggling with it all week. First heat did not end the way I wanted it to. Had nowhere near the pace I do now. Quick little setup change and working on my car since the end of the first heat. Got it all buttoned up. We're in a different setup, and I got a lot more pace now.
Well, Kyle, such a difficult track like you stated. What do you think the biggest keys are to staying out of trouble at North Wilkesboro?
What was that, PD? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle. I asked you, what do you think the biggest keys are here at such a difficult track like North Wilkesboro to staying out of trouble?
Keep the car underneath you when you're getting the tires warm for the first 15 laps. Avoid the wrecks, and you got to hit this every single lap the same because the bumps here are terrible and can really upset the car. Avoid carnage, and those are my keys. That's what I'm going to try to do. Hopefully hard body my way up to the top 4 and race in.
All right, that's Kyle Strychar starting 7th, driver of the 07. Hopefully we talk to you after the race, buddy. Good luck.
All right, thank you, Petey.
All right, so we're going to let Kyle get back with his team, and we're going to get ready to go green here as the drivers are 1 lap till we get this thing underway. Pole position, Octavio Rondoletto last week at Texas. Rondoletto won his heat race, and he was racing for the win late in the going at Texas before he got collected in a late big wreck. This week, he's hoping to redeem himself with a victory, although that 77 has been self-admittingly a little bit off the pace in practice. He qualified on pole here in this heat race, so certainly some speed under the 77's hood, it looks like, in this heat race. We'll have to see how it goes. The pace car makes the hard left-hand turn, field to the mercy of Octavio Rondoletto. We're underway, green flag in the air, and Rondoletto gets a decent jump, but Johnson hangs on his outside. Johnson's now going to slide in behind him into second. This whole field goes 2 by 2 by 2, just trying to get things sorted out. Good battle going on for about 5th right now. Looks like John Schwartz on the outside in the 01 car. He's racing on the outside of Kenny Tripp. Schwartz goes way up the racetrack, and Tripp on the low side gets the good run off, although Schwartz on that high side does fight back. This is the first battle on the speedway. Schwartz continues to run way up top. Early in the run, these cars are just so loose, it's going to be hard for Schwartz to pull that up high. And speaking of getting loose is Kenny Tripp, as he will get loose and give way to the 01 of John Schwartz. So move Johnny Smooth now up to 5th as he'll set his sights on the 48 Jordan Babinger. Up front, it is the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. He has pulled a little bit away from Chase Johnson. Johnson runs in second, and here comes Tyler McRae peeking to the inside of Johnson. A battle going on behind them is actually Kyle Strychar's look to the inside of the 01 of Schwartz. Nothing was doing there for Strychar's, though. He's just pulled back in the line now in front of the 12. Schwartz gets loose now. That opens up the hole for Strychar's. Strychar's is going to move up to 5th. Like I said, those DBR cars have been strong all weekend. And now he gets really loose. That's going to let Schwartz take the position back on the high side. Great duel. And here we go for second. To the inside goes Tyler McRae on Chase Johnson. McRae drives down low for that second position. His teammate Jordan Babinger is looking to follow him through the hole. Babinger now underneath Johnson as McRae has cleared him. So McRae up to the second position now. He'll set his sights on Rondoletto as Johnson gives McRae a little shove there. McRae hangs on to it. Now they continue to battle for third. To the inside goes Babinger. Babinger now drives that car down on the low side. I mean, he is absolutely wheeling that thing. And off the corner, McRae gets loose. That's going to let Babinger get to the inside of his teammate McRae. Here they go for second spot now as McRae runs the high side. Babinger runs down low. Johnson just kind of waits in the wings. That car looks a little squirrely right now. Good battle going on for second. McRae on that outside doing a good job rocketing that machine up top. But it is Jordan Babinger on the inside. He's going to take the position away. And McRae gets a good run off the corner as Johnson loses his car a little bit. Does Johnson hang on? He does. He's going to be side by side for fourth now with Kenny Tripp. And Johnson's still loose. He gets up in front of Strychar's. And he gets into Strychar's, turns him around, flipping as Kyle Strychar's. Terrible break there for the 07. And caution is out on the speedways. Chase Johnson just got into Kyle Strychar's there. A second straight heat race that Johnson has caused an early accident. And that'll put us under yellow for the first time. So we will see what happened there. I mean, you saw it live, but we will see a replay in a moment and see what happened. As the replay goes up, you see Johnson just got loose down the front straightaway. Almost saved the car, then heading to one, he got real loose. Got in front of Strychar's, put his car on the wall, then he came off the wall and just took Strychar's out. And Strychar's ended up flipping. And the Strychar's team was not happy with the Johnson team at all. They apparently were trying to get involved physically with the number 57 team. Race officials down in the pits had to separate the two crews. So a non-happy Kyle Strychar's. We're going to try to hear what Kyle Strychar saw from his perspective as we're going to pull him up real quick. As we're going to pull him in, and we're down here at the Infield Care Center, and Kyle, I said before the race, hopefully we talk to you after the race. This is not what I meant whatsoever. Kyle, take the viewers through in a PG way, please, of what happened from your perspective.
Well, I guess the old commentator jinx came into play there. I mean, we were running good, driving up the field. Unfortunately, some people don't know how to keep the cars together when they're crashing and decide to think they can manhandle the car and swing back up in front of the field. But that's how it goes. You got another one at 7 o'clock, so hopefully we can race our way in there. I mean, we got pace, a lot of pace, I think. But yeah, it's just unfortunate and really, really frustrating when the same driver, you know, gets in you about a million times in qualifying too, but that's how it goes.
All right, a very frustrated Kyle Strychars there. Thank you, Kyle, for your time. That was the driver of the 07. After a tough accident there, gained the perspective from him. So here's going to be your updated running order when we get things back underway. Your leader's still going to be Octavio Rondoletto. Second's going to be Babinger now. Third's going to be Tyler McRae. Up to fourth after that accident is going to be Kenny Tripp in the number 12 car. Up to fifth after starting in ninth is going to be Quintus LaBeouf in the 03. Is under caution. He makes contact with the 12 of Kenny Tripp. Tough break there. Hopefully no worse for wear. Sixth is going to be John Schwartz in the 01. Seventh is going to be Cody Jones in the number 06. Eighth is going to be the 28 of Stephen Rex. Ninth is going to be the 7 of Jeff Edgar. And 10th will be Marty Zakawa. So that is your top 10. Currently, we still have 23 cars on the lead lap running. And we have 24 cars still racing out there. As it looks like the 57 of Chase Johnson has just brought that machine down the pits. I think he is just going to try to... yeah, that car is done. The 57 has parked it. So, tough break there for Johnson, but 2 straight heat races. He's caused the first caution. I mean, he's just kind of got to gather his stuff together a little bit better there and get things rolling. So here we go, this time by the flag stand. It does look like we have gotten 1 lap till we go back green flag racing, so the field doubles them up, and we're getting ready to go, although I think race control might end up delaying this one more time. It doesn't look like the field's very organized. We'll have to see. As they head down the backstretch, still no delay, though. Looks like we're going green this time. So we head down in the corners number 3 and 4. It's Rondoletto in the top spot. The iRacing Ford Mustang makes that hard left-hand turn. Field is now at the mercy of Rondoletto. Here they come. Green flag in the air. They're down and away. Great run there for Rondoletto as he got the advantage. Sliding in the second is now going to be Babinger. On the outside, Kenny Tripp makes it wide. He's trying to take third away from McRae. McRae races underneath Tripp. There's nothing there, though, and it's going to be Tripp up the third spot now as McRae pops in the line. Here comes John Schwartz looking to the inside of McRae. Never mind battle for second. Tripp now looks to the inside of Babinger. Tripp gets loose. Oh, Babinger gets into the wall, and a huge wreck in front of the field. Caution will definitely be flying. I haven't seen it yet. There it comes as the entire field is going to be involved in that wreck. I mean, an absolutely massive wreck there, as that will be the second caution of the race, and it all started with Jordan Babinger getting into the outside wall, as we will see a replay of that in a moment. But I mean, that collected everyone. Pretty much every car in the field got a piece. And you see the replay now. Jordan Babinger racing with Kenny Tripp for second off turn number 4. He just pile drove the wall, got in a trip, and those two pretty much created a wall in front of the field. And I mean, that collected about 12 or 15 cars. Like, that was a good portion of the field there. Has a absolutely brutal wreck here in North Wilkesboro. Takes out a lot of the competition, and we'll have to see how these cars are running when we get them back going. Some of the cars are going to have to come down pit road. Here's your updated running order. Pretty much the only car to survive that scot-free was the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto, who was ahead of it all. Second place is going to be Quintus LaBeouf. LaBeouf got a tiny piece of it, but the 03 doesn't look much worse for wear. Also not getting much of it will now be third Logan Jones. Logan Jones, that car looks like it's going to be okay. Jeff Edgar will be up to fourth, as that car also does not look too worse for wear. Pat Sullivan will be up to fifth with a pretty beat-up nose. Sixth is going to be Ben Eaton. Seventh is going to be Jose Godino. Eighth now is going to be Justin Novaria. Ninth will be John Frilly. And 10th will be Josh Rogers. Alex Gangler will still be out there in 11th. 12th is going to be Ron Walters, Derek Colston, and Jeremy Leto all survive. We're going to be down to 14 cars, though, after starting 26. That wreck just took out pretty much half the field. And there's very few cars left on the track without any damage. Pretty much just Octavio Rondoletto and Quintus LaBeouf. And even LaBeouf has a tiny bit of damage. So a massive wreck here North Wilkesboro completely changes the complexion of things. As now a lot of those front runners like Babinger, McRae, you also had Johnson running up there, Schwartz, Zakawa got a big piece of that. A lot of those cars that were up there racing for those transfer spots, they have now been eliminated from this race. Kenny Tripp, too, he got a lot of damage. These cars are down on pit road. We're going to be down to, it looks like, about 15 cars on lead lap, as a massive wreck here in North Wilkesboro changes the race. We're going to try to get a word in there with the driver where that caution started, Jordan Babinger, if we can. And we're going to pull him up here. Jordan Babinger, it's PDJ Zeller up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Jordan, you were racing there for second with Kenny Tripp, and coming off the corner, it looks like the car just got a little tight there. Take us through what happened from the cockpit.
Yeah, I seen Kenny drive in there on me, so I was trying to give him enough room. I wasn't quite sure where he was on the track, so I was trying to stay up a little high, and the car it was just way too tight, and I hit the wall too hard, and it set me off back into Kenny. Really feel bad for all the guys that got taken out in that.
A tough break for sure, Jordan, but nonetheless, the 48 cars look quick in practice all week. You're looking quick in the heat race. Looking forward to the feature. You got to be feeling good about your chances.
Yeah, I am. Just trying to make it through these heat races. Hopefully I'll be back at 7. Again, I'd like to apologize to everybody that got taken out in that. It's pretty disappointing.
10-4, that's Jordan Babinger, driver number 48. Hopefully we'll see him with better luck in the next heat race. So we're one lap till we go back, green flag racing. In case you've forgotten, here is your top 5. Octavio Rondoletto's in first, second Clinus LaBeouf, third Cody Jones, fourth Jeff Edgar, and fifth will be Pat Sullivan. So here they come this time by. They get one lap till we go back green, as it's going to be Rondoletto still starting in first on that inside lane. We'll have to see who's left to fight in this thing. There's 15 cars left on the lead lap, 15 cars left running. The cars without damage, though, were about 2 or 3. A lot of these guys got tore up in that wreck. As we come down the backstretch, it is Octavio Rondoletto leading the field into turn number 3 and 4. We'll have to see how LaBeouf can do on that outside. Really haven't got a good look at LaBeouf this weekend. That 03 car has kind of been an enigma. As they come off the corner, it's the 77 of Rondoletto waiting for the pace car to turn. It does. Green flag in the air. We're down and away as Dale Jr. waves that green flag, and Rondoletto jumps out in front. Now here's the battle for second. Jones looks to the inside of LaBeouf. LaBeouf continues to drive up top, but it's Cody Jones on the inside. He is going to take away that second position from Clinus, so Jones has driven that car up to second now. He'll set his sights on Rondoletto in the top spot. They continue to race behind him for some more positions. Looks like a good battle going on for about 5th and 6th right now. Is actually, that has sorted itself out. You have to get deeper in the field before the battling starts to get real good. As we have a car around in the back. It's the 126 of John Frilly, and it looks like just a couple car wreck. They're going to get him back going. No caution will fly as Frilly gets that thing straighted out. Rondoletto has a pretty big advantage right now over Cody Jones in second. Jones looks like he has a little nose damage on that car. Maybe that thing's a little tighter than you would like it to be right now. Clinus LaBeouf continues to run in line right behind him as they race for second. Good battle going on between the two BBM teammates right there. Fourth place in the final transfer spot's Pat Sullivan, but he has a mirror full of Ben Eaton right now. And it looks like all throughout the field, cars just scattered all over the place. Kenny Tripp's still out there racing. He's a couple laps down, though, so that's not really for position or anything, as I see him making a few passes. Out in front, though, Octavio Rondoletto is opening up a big gap on the rest of the field right now. I mean, that 77 car is putting down some fast times right now. He's putting down .7s just about every lap. And for a guy who coming into this race said that he wasn't too sure about his car, wasn't too sure how he's going to be running this week, that 77 of Rondoletto is running real strong right now. He is pulling a big gap on the field, up to about 1.5 seconds on Jones in second. And it looks like Jones's teammate LaBeouf might be a little bit quicker than him, but I just don't think LaBeouf can find a good way around Jones yet. And actually the second and third place cars, they're starting to lose a little time to Pat Sullivan and the guys behind them. So still a long way to go in this race, but halfway down, halfway to go. It's been all Octavio Rondoletto so far. That 77 car has been looking stout. Has just clicking away good lap times. He gets a little loose off the corner. He puts down yet another, that was actually a .6 that time by a fast lap by Rondoletto. And for comparison's sakes, second place and third place are running 20 flats right now. Fourth and fifth are running 22s. Rondoletto's a good 4/10 faster than the rest of the field right now. Here we go for second. LaBeouf looks to the inside of Jones. LaBeouf drives that thing down low. He's going to drive it off the corner, move LaBeouf now up into the second spot. He'll try to set his sights on our leaders. That number 03 is actually looking a little bit better. He ran probably about his best lap in a while. He has a long way to go, though. He has about 2.5 seconds to make up on Rondoletto if he has any shot. And right now, that 03 car just kind of has to go set down some times and see if he can track down our leader. As we'll keep an eye on the lap time, see if that's something he can obtain Another good lap for LaBeouf. That time was 8.24, still a little bit slower than Rondoletto. Rondoletto still up by about 2.5 seconds. And one thing I do know, though, for LaBeouf is that he's running the same setup that heat race #1 winner William Karp ran. And at least in the case of Karp, that setup really didn't come in until about 15 laps to go. Here we are with about 20 laps to go, and LaBeouf just keeps picking up time. Unfortunately for him, Rondoletto is also continuing to pick up time. And for him, if LaBeouf cannot start to close the gap a little bit here on the 77, I just don't know if it'll happen. He's starting to run out of time here. Still 20 laps to go, but I mean, that's a big lead that Rondoletto's opened up. Another 0.6 for Rondoletto that time by, and for LaBeouf a 0.8. So the lead opens up even more for Rondoletto, and this race is pretty much for about the transfer spot right now. So here we go, battle on for 5th. Jose Gaudino looks to the inside of Ben Eaton. Gaudino just trying to get that thing to stick. He does have the line in on the 2 car. He drives it down low, and Gaudino trying to take that spot over. His 4th place final transfer spot, Pat Sullivan, runs right in front of the 2 car right now. So if Gaudino can find his way around, he'd really have a chance of taking over that 4th and final transfer spot. Unfortunately, in North Wilkesboro, catching guy is one thing, passing him is a complete other. It's not an easy thing to do here. So really the top 3 are kind of all in their own little zip codes right now. Rondoletto runs a good bit ahead of the field, really with no challenge. LaBeouf runs in 2nd, really unchallenged, and Cody Jones in 3rd is running fairly unchallenged for the most part right now, too. That 06 car is no one that close to him. So a good run right now for our top 3. The real battle will be the transfer spot. Is now Ben Eaton. He does start to close the gap on Pat Sullivan. He looks to the inside. Nothing there. This is for the last transfer spot. As Eaton gets loose, he's going to hang on to it. A battle behind them for 6th and 7th. Josh Rogers goes to the inside of Jose Gaudino. Rogers is going to take over that spot. And Rogers running some good lap times. He's going to start to set his sights on 4th and 5th. He might have a chance at that transfer spot before this is all said and done. Our leader, Rondoletto, is starting to get into some lap traffic. He has put John Frilly 1 lap down. He will now have to catch up to Novaria, and it looks like Jeff Edgar, who's suffering from a lot of damage in that 7 car. The 7 car, I think, is down a cylinder or 2 as Rondoletto just closes the gap on him more and more as the laps go down. So Rondoletto continues to work his way up through the field. He now makes his way to the bumper of the 7 of Edgar, and Edgar cuts him off a little bit, but the 77 of Rondoletto will get around him. And right now, the fastest car on the track the last couple laps has been Clinus LaBeouf. For LaBeouf, though, it's still a 3-second lead for Rondoletto with 15 laps to go. It would take something miraculous. Battle is on for 5th, though. The 31 car of Rogers works to the inside of Ben Eaton. Rogers drives that car down on the low side of that number 2 machine. Rogers just trying to make his way up one more position. It's one position at a time right now for Rogers, as he can see that final transfer spot right in front of him. But first he has to get around that 2 car. As him and Eaton make a little contact off the corner. Rogers is able to hang on. He drives it deep into 3 and 4. Underneath the 2 car, but the 2 car on the high side just able to keep them RPMs up as he gets into Rogers a little bit. Rogers gets loose, but Rogers hangs on. And the 2 car of Eaton is just really able to fend for his teammate right now by keeping that 31 behind him. That's Pat Sullivan looking to hang on to the last transfer spot with a lot of nose damage to that car. Keep an eye on that. Those oil temperatures could be getting higher and higher on the 19 team. And that'll certainly, or the 16 team, excuse me, and that would be something worth noting as we get later into the run here. So looking back up towards the front near our leaders, it's still Octavio Rondoletto with a 3-second advantage on Clinus LaBeouf. LaBeouf just not able to make much headway, so we'll keep an eye on this battle for the transfer spot. As Eaton gets right up to the bumper of his teammate there, almost gives him a bump. Eaton's able to hang on, Sullivan's able to hang on. They continue to race for 4th and 5th. Remember, top 4 transferred to tomorrow's 1st and 15-300. As this battle for the transfer spot, though, is getting really heated. I mean, we have 4th, 5th, and 6th under a blanket right now. The 12 of Kenny Tripp, he is a lap car, so he is not really relevant in this battle for the transfer spot. However, he is affiliated with the 2 and 16, so he might be trying to keep the 31 behind him. Here come the battle for the transfer spot around the lap car of Jeff Edgar. Pat Sullivan jumps to the outside, and it's going to be Ben Eaton splitting the gap going to the low side. They all get around the lap car of Edgar without much of an issue there. Everyone's going to hang on to it. Still Sullivan in that transfer spot with just 10 laps to go. Eaton's car looks like it's getting more and more ill handling as the race goes on. I'll tell you what, I really think that Rogers 31 is the fastest out of all 3 of them right now. It's just a matter of if Rogers can get around the 2 and 16. And like I said earlier, catching a guy in North Wilkesboro is one thing, passing him's another. We'll have to see if Rogers is able to do either. As here we go to the outside, looks Kenny Tripp on Rogers. Tripp is a lap down, but he's still racing with these lead cars right now. Tripp goes around the high side, and he is going to almost complete the pass in the 31. Him and the 31 make contact. Everyone's going to hang on to it. Oh, now Tripp gets loose into the corner as now Rogers shoves him up the racetrack. Tripp hangs on to it. That has taken Rogers out of the battle for the transfer spot, though. So tough break there for Josh Rogers, as he is now just going to have to deal with 6th and hope the 2 teammates in front of him tangle a little bit, as Ben Eaton continues to run all over the back bumper of Pat Sullivan right now. Up front, you're missing nothing. Octavio Rondoletto has opened up his lead to about 4 seconds. It's all Octavio here in heat race number 2. He's led wire to wire so far, and barring a miracle, it looks like it's going to stay that way, as he has a 4-second lead over the field. Ben Eaton peeks to the low side now of his teammate Pat Sullivan, gets a good run off the corner. Still just nothing doing there for the 2 of Ben Eaton. This time by for our leader, 5 laps to go. 5 laps to go means there will be no more cautions in this race, so we are green to the end here. This has been an interesting heat race, to say the least. That huge wreck early on really took out a lot of contenders and has opened the door for guys like Clinus LaBeouf, Cody Jones, and Pat Sullivan to get themselves in transfer spots. And with 5 to go, a big mistake there by the 2 of Eaton. He gets tight in the corner, and Eaton now has almost taken himself out of contention for that transfer spot. He now runs about 0.6 of a second behind his teammate Sullivan in the numbered 16. Sullivan smooth sailing ahead, as Eaton is going to have to make up some serious ground here in the final 3.5 laps if he wants any sort of shot at taking that 4th spot away. Sullivan does get a little tight in the corner. Eaton continues to kind of make up a little bit of ground. I just don't think it's quite enough. Sullivan running a really conservative pace right now, though, so I mean, anything is possible here for the 2 of Eaton if he can continue to drive the wheels off that car. Eaton now starts to close the gap a little bit on the 16 there of Sullivan. Eaton is catching back up to him. This might be a race before it's over, but Eaton just washes up in the corner, and that right there probably is going to do it. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps to go. We'll go back up front to our leader. It is Octavio Rondoletto coming out of turn number 4. White flag in the air, 1 more lap to go for the 77 of Rondoletto, and Rondoletto, clear skies in front of him. He just has to bring it home. Rondoletto brings it down the backstretch one last time. Here he dives down to the North Wilkesboro, turns 3 and 4. Good arc in the corner, and Rondoletto drives it off. Checkered flag in the air. Octavio Rondoletto wins heat race number 2, leading wire to wire. Second place is going to be the 0-3 of Clinus LaBeouf. Third is going to be the 0-6 of Cody Jones. Fourth place, it does look like Pat Sullivan was able to hang on for the last transfer spot. He does transfer in 4th. And first cars outside of the transfer spot: 5th, Ben Eaton; 6th, Josh Rogers; 7th, Tyler Batchelder; 8th, Jeremy Leto; 9th, Alex Gangler; and 10th, John Frilly. So those are your top 10. Top 4 did transfer, so congratulations to those 4 drivers. We are going to catch a word with Octavio Rondoletto here in just one moment. And we're down here in Victory Lane with the number 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. And Octavio, a nice heat race victory for you. This makes it 5 straight weeks you've won a heat race, man. You're pretty good at qualifying. Tell me how you feel about your car heading into this week.
Hello, everybody. I'm really happy with the feeling of the car. This race will be so difficult. A lot of cars are fast today and will be tomorrow. But the car is so well. I'm really happy with the setup.
Well, Octavio, who would you like to thank for your sponsors, crew, and team on the 77?
Okay, thanks to Tanner, to Jeremy, Tella TV.
All right, well, that was heat race number 2 winner, Octavio Rondoletto. Good luck to you in the feature tomorrow, my friend. And that'll wrap up the broadcast for heat race number 2. On behalf of myself, PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, Tanner Kalin, and all the great people over at Telesign TV, Aaron Hillbush, and the guys who make XCAL Racing possible, we'll see you in an hour for heat race number 3.